to welcome all of you. And you know that in the present situation, we are very panic about the second phase of the COVID-19. So keeping this in mind, we are organizing. Our topic is that how to save the lives in the COVID second phase of the COVID-19. Its prevention and treatment. And it's a great pleasure to we have the our moderator, Dr. A.K. Agarwal. He's an eminent personality in the medical fraternity, a professor of excellence, and also he is the medical advisor at Apollo Group of Hospitals. So I'm handing over to Dr. Agarwal to moderate today's webinar. Thank you all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Amresh Tiwari. Thanks to you. Thanks to Double Helical Magazine. After the first wave, we had a peaceful time in the month of January, February, and perhaps many of us relaxed, feeling that we are back to normal. And now we like to invite Dr. R.K. Tuli. Dr. R.K. Tuli, in continuation of talk with Dr. Tanuja and Dr. Saroj. Dr. R.K. Tuli is the person with holistic medicine. He looks after Soham Center of Holistic Medicine, and he is also a professor with Indira Gandhi University. He has created the holistic approach platform for the country. Thank you, Dr. Tuli. Perhaps your expert opinion will be very useful for all of us to think how to proceed further. The big challenge to save ourselves in second wave and to face third wave if it comes. Dr. Tuli.
I bring this talk to you with compliments from Society for Holistic Advancement of Medicine, which is dedicated to promotion of positive health and total wellness, body, mind, and spirit, and particularly for eradication of conventionally incurable diseases to restore health and wellness amongst all. Holistic medicine treats the human being as a whole. As the Charaka Samhita explains, the human being is not just the body, but a combination of the body, the mind, the senses, and the Atma. At the core, human being is a spiritual being. This body is only its temporary covering. Unfortunately, why modern medicine can never succeed in taking care of the human health is because it is totally limited and confined to the physical care. As you have seen, even this COVID-19 epidemic, the most advanced countries of the world, whether it is France or the Italy or the USA or England, who have the highest medical facilities, highest level of medical facilities available. And I am glad to share, as you all know, that whether it is the incidence per million or is the case fatality rate, etc., that has been the lowest in our country. And in fact, it is a fraction of what is maybe in USA, UK, etc., the countries which have very small population relative to us, which have all the highest facilities available. It exposes that merely by relying on the allopathic system of medicine, we cannot take care of all. As a matter of fact, World Health Organization, UNICEF 1978, global program, Health for All, had already shown that there has to be a proper integration of all the systems of medicine. And that is what holistic medicine also addresses to that. It takes care of the human being as a whole. It offers the best of all the systems of medicine to the individual because each system has its advantages. I am very proud of my allopathic heritage of 51 years into the practice with postgraduate training in aviation medicine, sports medicine, internal medicine, because the medicine, there is no medicine which can give you health, and it does not fulfill. Hippocrates' first dictum was primum non nocere, that do no harm. But unfortunately, there is no medicine today which qualifies for this requirement. Hippocrates had also said let thy food be thy medicine. Very important. As in Ayurveda, we say, Jaisa an, vaisa man, and tatho mera tan. So these are, and also Hippocrates was very aware that the greatest factor in my well-being is my life force. That means he was very aware this factor of life force, that is the human spirit. And we have to, at the core, human being is the spirit, is that energy which keeps me alive. And this journey of my life depends upon how vital, healthy is my spirit. And of course, the various holistic modalities work upon, and as the spirit flows through every cell of my body, that's what holistic medicine helps to take care of the individual as a whole and even all its ailments concurrently without the use of any medicines. If I am healthy, my spirit is healthy, it is flowing, and that is what is keeping me alive, and that can only keep me absolutely, what they say, not only positive health and total wellness. Total wellness of the body, mind, and spirit. So one of the greatest deficiencies in the healthcare services has been its total reliance on the allopathic system of medicine. As Dr. Saroj just brought it out, human being is a product of the host, the environment, and the agent. If my environment is healthy, the host is empowered, the agent, all the microbes in the environment have been designed to live in symbiotic relationship. That is, they are all beneficial to me. But only when we disturb this balance, that this agent starts disturbing me. And unfortunately, again, as the word allopathy, allo means we are looking for external interventions all the time in the form of various pharmaceuticals or surgical interventions, etc. And we have nothing to offer to enhance the host capabilities. Of course, if the environment remaining same, it is very important. And that's what these drug-free modalities of our Atharveda, comprising Ayurveda, yoga, etc., supplement these and tonify my own natural spirit and help me to restore my milieu interior, thereby taking care of all the diseases. And this body has got an inherent power of healing. I tell all my patients, I say, even after the major surgery has been done, the life has been saved, finally the individual has to heal oneself to be able to return home. So in this, we have to become very aware that human being at the core is a spiritual being, and we must take care of this spirit of the human being. And this is the best way to keep this is, as we have understood, is through the practice of yoga. Particularly the yoga, the Ashtanga yoga as prescribed by Rishi Patanjali. That is the most important thing, is the yama and the niyama. Today people are dying, not because of the virus, but because of the negativity that they create, the stress, the tension, anxiety, parishani. All these things deplete our life force, the spirit. It breaks my immune barriers and makes me vulnerable to all the diseases. As you know, when I am stressed, when I'm anxious, my oxygen requirement goes up. Even a normal, healthy person facing a small episode of anxiety or stress starts panting his oxygen requirement. And even many people at a shocking news die instantly. That's the importance of my life force. And the same life force is enhanced by when we say prana. Human being is a prani. This life begins with my first breath and ends with my last breath. The journey of my life is the journey of my breath. Healthier my breath, healthier my life, because This breath is not just air or oxygen. It is called prana. If my prana is strong, those sages who have mastered their prana can live without air and oxygen for several hours. They can be deprived and they can even stop their heartbeats for very long times. This has been scientifically evaluated by many people who are adverse to in this concept. So we don't have to go far. मेरा भारतवर्ष सोने की चिड़िया रहा है. आयुर्वेद आज जो 3,000, 4,000 पुरानी जो आयुर्वेद, these the nuggets of Ayurveda have survived thousands of years. They are equally respected today and can be experienced in a moment. Whereas the best and the gold standards of medicine, as Dr. Mishra enumerated, one after the other, all the drugs have been found to be not of any benefit. But a lot of people are dying because they are running after the medicines. Medicines cannot save life. You do a pranayama and instantly, not only your mental acuity starts going up, you start feeling well, you start feeling relaxed, you start feeling more energetic, you start feeling overcoming any problem that you may have. So there are various types of pranayama. Shortage of time, I cannot go into the details, but we must understand the yogic physiology of breath. As you know, the two nostrils, they are not just physical structures. They have got perhaps as subtle, the sensors, as subtle is my life force. As the right nose and the left nose have been described as the Pingala and the Ida. That is the energy of the sun and the energy of the moon. The Chinese philosophy also says the yang and the yin. And this may be compared to, in medical science, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And we all know we need a harmony of this parasympathetic and sympathetic. We, because of the modern stresses, are always hyperventilating, or we are in a sympathetic mode. But what needs to bring us equanimity is my parasympathetic. When we do the pranayama, not only we nourish our prana, the life force, we harmonize our milieu interior, which sets in a chain reaction, automatic chain reaction of various harmonizing, healing processes go on to even eliminate the most chronic of the diseases. Today, in any case, all diseases have been ascribed as lifestyle diseases. We have no cure for them. The medical science has progressed tremendously in the last 3 and 4 decades. We have got the best hospitals in the world. The good hospitals, the tertiary care hospitals, 50% of their clientele comes from all over the different countries of the world. Such is the excellence of the tertiary healthcare in our country. But at the same time, the incidence of all lifestyle diseases in the last 3 or 4 decades has gone up as much as 4 times, with their inevitable end organ damage and the various complications for which we only prolong the morbidity of the person. The mortality is, and even there, you see, we very commonly, patients come and tell me, when everything is lost in the hospital, patient has been on a life support, and when doctors find that nothing can, now they can offer nothing more, the patient is told, now only a miracle can save them. Then the God is remembered. What is God? God is that all-pervading life force energy, what we may call the Paramatma, as I am the Jivatma. A small kindle of that within me keeps me alive. And when this Jivatma is connected with the Paramatma through these various yogic practices, that brings us the state of yoga. Yoga means oneness. And I must, yes, do yoga, but I tell all my patients, I say, be a yogi. Yogi in action. Be aware that you are a microcosm of this universal macrocosm. You remain in harmony, you keep on drawing on this energy. It's called divine. It comes without any condition. It is omnipresent, there all the time. You just have to think and connect. It is omnipotent. Infinitely, Param Atma is infinitely strong. It is omniscient. It knows far more than my needs. I don't know where I will be tomorrow, but this divine energy knows. It has got a plan. It has got a program. And if I remain in harmony with this, it will help me overcome all my diseases and going on to, of course, the other parts of the. And same as as we adopt yoga as a lifestyle, all lifestyle diseases will disappear. As I adopt Ayurveda, which is very important, it is focused on my dincharya, that is my lifestyle. Even on Ritucharya, even on that same day, there are different aspects of the day, different parts of the day when the energies keep changing. These energies are not static. Why the dawn and the dusk? There is an extra charge of that energy in my environment, and I must share my environment. This body is made of the Panchabhutas, the 5 different elements as the nature is made of. When I interact, when I react with the nature, when I go out into the nature, my 5 elements are nourished, but they happen at such a subtle level that we are not aware of it and we tend to ignore. And there is a hypothesis that all the epidemics which have happened, beginning with, there is a recorded since the Spanish flu, they have happened whenever we have launched some energy devices into our environment. You all know we are living in a very subtle environment. At least scientifically, we accept that there's a very subtle South Pole and North Pole, and there are energy fields according to which our body has been designed. So when we do these stressful and anxious activities, etc., our energy starts getting depleted, our body cells start getting depleted, and their function is hampered. So our responsibility is to keep it positive by, again, our various, all the religions have accepted by the various activities, the religious activities. It may be the chanting of hymns, mantras, japas, doing kirtan or the satsang. I think we all know, all as scientists we may go, we may not accept, but they are they all nourish this life force energy. In the long run, it helps our health. So at the same time, they say the Spanish flu coincided with launch of the first time the radio waves were launched in the early part of in the year 2018, 15 or something. And that was the time when Spanish flu happened. Today, we are saying that the virus is contagious. It spreads from person to person by contact or by the droplets. But in the year 1918, there was no transmission. People at the most traveled by bullock cart or the slow boats. There was no intercontinental transmission of people. But how did the virus spread all over the world and cause such great fatalities? So it is just as you pick up a telephone and you can make a call to Tokyo or to Los Angeles within a fraction of a second, this energy spreads so fast. So what I will like to share here is what has been a part of our heritage, as a part of our Suchiveda, has been practiced as Bhedan Kriya and even as a Marma therapy in many parts of our country today. But we have unfortunately forgotten it. We have debunked it, whereas it spread along with the spread of Buddhism from our country to the Far East, and today is known as the system of acupuncture. You all know that World Health Organization has given accreditation to acupuncture as an independent system of medicine since year 1982. It's going to be 40 years. And I don't know what is the hesitation. It's very much a part of our Ayurvedic and yogic thinking. I call acupuncture as accelerated yoga, as therapeutic yoga. Just as yoga is a lifestyle, it helps me keep my energies in harmony, my sympathetic, parasympathetic. Acupuncture does it. as a magic, as a miracle, in a fraction of a second. And my conversion started when I saw it helping my patients even faster than intravenous or parenteral administrations. So this must be introduced. It is a excellent bridge. I have started a series of case reports where suffering from incurable sickness to positive wellness. And this is when a patient is in emergency, he cannot do any yoga, and Ayurvedic techniques will take a long time. That's where this helps work as a bridge to bring in me to a stage where I can start doing yogic practices and Ayurvedic and Siddha and all these things. So we must optimize by combining all this. This is what is actually our national health policy now says there should be a optimum integration of all the systems of medicine. Unfortunately, the various drug-free, the systems which are based on the drugs, for example, there may be a conflict between the Ayurvedic drugs or the homeopathic drugs and the allopathic drugs. And there is also a Supreme Court ruling that no doctor can practice the different systems of medicine at the same time. There's a great opposition from the Indian Medical Association, what they're calling it, mixopathy. But friends, the holistic medicine is like these drug-free. Nobody can stop me from incorporating yogic practices or the Ayurvedic way of life into my practice as an allopath. And similarly, the Ayurvedic practices can be enhanced tremendously by adding its own ancient Bhedankriya, the system of acupuncture, and it will help them to even handle emergencies much better. So this is a bridge between all the various drug-free modalities. They meet Hippocrates' dictum, primum non nocere. They can do no harm. No drugs given, no harm. They cost nothing. All it needs is training of the existing human resource, the manpower that we have plenty across all the systems. When we count the number of doctors and nurses, we fall badly short. But let us harness these healthcare into our mainstream, and within, as this epidemic has also proved that Indian healthcare has seen a very small damage as compared to the best in the country. So let us not draw our medical parameters from those countries. Let us explore our own heritage and revive our ancient heritage and nourish our health, and it is also acceptable to people. It does not require high-skilled, expensive technology. It does not require a medical college in every village. This can be delivered at a primary health center. And I have offered my services to the Ministry of Ayush, to the even the Niti Aayog, etc. That let us, anything that needs to be done is through exploring, through doing scientific projects, establishing a scientific credibility, and then going ahead. And this is where by adopting these lifestyles, we can, if everybody starts adopting a yogic lifestyle, he can harvest their own energies, nourish their own prana, reduce their own oxygen consumption, and develop a much better immunity to fight off the infection. And if we start it, I've been saying for the last 15 months that if we adopt this into our lifestyle, instead of running after let the vaccination come. Let us, as every individual, take the responsibility. Let every individual take responsibility of his own health by adopting these yogic and Ayurvedic practices into each one's lifestyle. And I can tell you, even if we start today, in a month or 2 months, the third wave will not come to India. It will not be able to touch the India. This is my belief. This is my faith. We need to convert it into ground reality by scientific studies on large scale. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tuli. Thank you, Dr. Tuli. बहुत ही emphasize किया आपने कि disciplined life, योगी बनना पड़ेगा हमको, योगा करना पड़ेगा. योगा तो एक positive energy के लिए है. and किस तरीके से perhaps acupuncture and the holistic approach you have very amply described, and I think it is for everyone else to adopt it. And there is no harm. That is absolutely your
No cost.
since